You ever notice how nobody warns you about the weird stuff that happens after 60? I mean, sure, they'll tell you about the gray hair and the creaky knees, but the rest? The stuff that creeps in quietly, like a cat sneaking into the room when you're not looking? That's the part nobody talks about. And it's not always pretty. Take the first one. Seniors start repeating themselves. Not because they forgot they told the story, but because it's one of the few stories left that makes them feel alive. That trip to the lake in '72 or the time they met someone famous at a gas station. You've heard it 10 times, but for them, telling it again is like reliving it. It's not about forgetfulness. It's about holding on. Then there's the complaining. Oh, the complaining. Weather, politics, kids these days, music, coffee being too strong or too weak. But here's the truth, complaining gives control. When your body's rebelling and the world's changing too fast. Complaining is the last tool in the box. It's not negativity, it's a survival skill. And the hoarding. Don't even try to throw that box away. It might have a 20-year-old phone charger in it. And what if they need it one day? The fear of losing what little they feel they still own creeps in quietly. Hoarding becomes a silent protest against disappearing. Next comes stubbornness. We're talking dig in the heels, fight you on the way to the doctor stubborn. It's not just pride, it's fear. Because admitting they need help, that means facing the fact that they're changing. That they're no longer the ones who fix everything, lift the heavy stuff, or know how to set the TV remote. Another one? Oversharing, especially medical stuff. You'll hear details about bowel movements, surgeries, rashes, things that should never leave a private journal. But aging peels away modesty. The body becomes a public project, and talking about it is how they deal with the betrayal of bones and organs. They overshare because silence is scarier. And this one's a curveball, getting meaner. Not always, but sometimes. Snappy comments, brutal honesty, no filter. It's not that they suddenly became unkind, it's that they've spent decades holding things in, and now the dam's cracked. Time feels short. Why sugarcoat it? You'll also notice emotional distance. They pull back, skip family dinners, avoid calls. It's easy to think they're mad or cold, but sometimes they're just preparing. Pulling away slowly so it doesn't hurt as much when the final goodbye comes. They don't say it, but you can feel it. Then comes paranoia. About money, safety, scams, you name it. They'll double-check locks 3 times, hide cash in strange places, mistrust the news, the bank, even their own kids sometimes. Because when you've lived long enough, you've seen enough betrayals to expect them. And yes, body odor changes. No one wants to say it out loud. But it happens. It's not poor hygiene, it's just biology. Skin changes, glands change, and suddenly your grandpa smells like a dusty attic and black pepper. There's also a strange fixation with the past. Not just memories, but trying to recreate them. Wearing old styles, listening to old songs, even using outdated slang. It's not just nostalgia, it's an anchor. When the world feels alien, the past is home. Social circles shrink too. Friends pass away, mobility drops, hearing fades. One day, they realize they only talk to the cashier at the grocery store. Loneliness becomes a heavy, invisible coat they wear all day. And it's not because they don't want to connect. It's because connection takes energy they no longer have. And finally, there's the silence. The long, thick kind. It creeps into rooms. They sit for hours without speaking. Not because they have nothing to say, but because saying it feels like shouting into a void. The world is loud, but inside it's growing quiet. Now here's the thing. Every single one of these unpleasant habits, they're signals, warnings. Not that something is wrong with them, but that something is being lost. Dignity, control, connection. The world keeps spinning, but their footing gets weaker. And these quirks, these odd and awkward habits, are the ways they try to hold on. But if we only see the unpleasant, we miss the human behind it. The stories behind the repetition, the pain behind the stubbornness, the love behind the silence. Remember how I said one of these so-called unpleasant habits might save your life? Here it is. Seniors start questioning everything. Not in a conspiracy theory kind of way, although, let's be honest, sometimes it dips into that, but in a deep, soul-searching kind of way. They ask why things are the way they are, why people drift apart, why the world keeps getting faster while they slow down. This kind of reflection, it's not weakness, it's wisdom in disguise. And if you're lucky enough to listen, really listen, you might walk away seeing life completely differently. But let's not sugarcoat it. Some things still sting, like the way older folks can sometimes lose patience with younger people. They seem annoyed, short-tempered, dismissive. But it's not because they think they're better. It's because they're frustrated that they can't connect the way they used to. They feel left behind, spoken over, skipped past like a page in a book no one wants to read anymore. Then there's the over-attachment to routine. Breakfast at 7, walk at 9, nap at 2. Heaven help anyone who tries to move that schedule by even 10 minutes. But under that rigidity is fear. Routine is comfort. It's something they can still control when everything else seems to slip through their fingers. And you'll notice this strange thing. They start collecting sympathy like it's currency. They talk about their problems, their pain, their losses, and sometimes it feels like they want you to feel sorry for them. But it's not about pity. It's about being seen. Aches and struggles are easier to carry when someone acknowledges them. When someone says, "I hear you, I'm here." They also start saying no, a lot. No to invitations, to help, to new things. It's not because they don't care. It's because they're tired. Socializing takes energy. Change takes courage. And at a certain age, peace becomes more valuable than excitement. Here's one you don't hear about much. They stop decorating. The house looks the same for 20 years. Same couch, same curtains, same holiday decorations from 1984. And it's not laziness. It's memory preservation. Those old things hold echoes. They're reminders of who they were when they were still dancing in the kitchen or chasing toddlers down the hallway. Sometimes, they talk about death casually, almost too casually. They'll joke about it or plan for it with a checklist and no tears. It can be jarring, but that's not coldness. That's acceptance. And after a certain number of funerals, you either make peace with death or let it haunt you. They choose peace. You might also catch them staring off more often. Into space, into the past, into nothing at all. They're not zoning out. They're time traveling, reliving moments in Technicolor. First kisses, losses, tiny victories that no one else even remembers. While you're trying to find the remote, they're holding hands with a memory. And let's not skip this one. Some start to isolate on purpose. They pull away from people who drain them, even if it's family. Not out of cruelty, but self-preservation. They've got less time, and they want it spent with peace, not chaos. But the hardest one to watch? They begin to shrink, not just physically, but emotionally. They take up less space. They stop correcting people, stop offering opinions, stop challenging the world. Because after years of fighting to be heard, they're too tired to shout anymore. They retreat into themselves like a wave pulling back into the sea. And yet, in the middle of all this, they do something remarkable. They still love. Fiercely. Quietly. Through actions, not words. A sandwich left on your counter. A knitted scarf. A voicemail just to say hi. It might not come with a hug or a long speech, but it's love all the same. That love grows quieter with age, but deeper, like roots. So what does all this mean? It means the unpleasant stuff isn't the whole picture. It never was. Behind every habit, every odd behavior, is a person trying to adjust to the final chapter of a long, complicated story. A person still learning how to say goodbye without making a scene, still hoping they mattered, still craving connection in a world that moves too fast to notice they're fading. And if you've made it this far, here's your reward. A simple truth no one says out loud. Aging doesn't steal who you are. It reveals it. Whatever's been buried, kindness, resentment, humor, bitterness, patience, pride, it all surfaces when the rest falls away. If this felt true to you, you're probably the kind of person who belongs here. Go on, subscribe. Let's keep this conversation going, because we've got more to uncover, and this time you'll know where to look.